Hello guys, Andrew the Fanboy here. So this is going to be a no spoiler review of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. I'm not going to get into a spoilery review yet. I might do that maybe next week-ish. I don't know, I'm still deciding. Because I'm just giving you guys a lot of time to see the movie before I talk about it. So this is not going to be spoiling the movie. You can actually watch this before you go see the movie in theaters. Batman vs Superman, Batman vs Superman, Batman vs Superman vs Superman, Batman vs Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice! Featuring a bunch of other characters, like a lot of them. So, if we're talking about Batman as a character, I'm going to say for years, I've been wanting a Batman that accurately addresses all of his different, all the different aspects of him being Batman. For example, how great of a detective he is, all the cool gadgets he has, the Bruce Wayne persona, and also how he deals with killing and that kind of stuff. And also his relationship with the Gotham Police Force. This is all addressed very, very well. He does some stuff that would lead you to believe he's a great detective. His gadgets that he uses are awesome. Some of the Batmobile and the Batwing specifically as gadgets are awesome. And the Bruce Wayne feel, he doesn't feel as much of a playboy as Christian Bale did. Ben Affleck doesn't, but I'm good with that because this version is more of like the 50-something Batman, like the early 50s Batman, and the Christian Bale Batman would be in his early to mid 30s. So I like how they kind of changed that up a little bit. Something that this film did very well is get really hyped for those solo Batman films. Whenever they may come out, they got you really hyped because Ben Affleck was a great Batman. And the question that people had way back in 2013 when they announced it, they were all wrong because he is an awesome Batman. A great Batman. I'd say he's my favorite live action Batman. I definitely say that. Better than Keaton, definitely better than Kilmer, definitely better than Clooney, and he's better than Bale. He's definitely better than Bale. So that's how I feel about Batman in this film. How do I feel about Superman in this film? So I feel like in this film, Superman is portrayed as a bit more hopeful than he was in Man of Steel, which I commend them for that. I commend them for the fact that they addressed Superman as a bit more of a hopeful character than they did in Man of Steel. But he's still not this full-on Big Blue Boy Scout. He still has things that the Big Blue Boy Scout that we all know and love would never do. Most of he does. And I think that something that they do really well is how the world addresses what Superman can do, and his power is addressed well, and how Batman addresses that, and how other people address that. For example, Lex Luthor, Senator Finch. I'm not going to talk about their roles in the movie or anything, but all of that is addressed very well on what he can do. And also, I really like him and Lois's relationship is done incredibly well, and it gives you this they really do a good job with giving you that Lois and that classic Lois and Clark feel, which is good. And I liked that, and Henry Cavill is doing a good job. I feel like he's getting closer to the Big Blue Boy Scout that we all know and love. He's just not quite there yet. How do I feel about Wonder Woman in this film? I feel like the moments that you're in, which aren't that many, she was really good, and it got me really excited for Wonder Woman's solo film. And the parts that she was in, it did feel a little bit overwhelming because this was a really big movie and it did a lot of stuff. But I guess it was a little overwhelming how they kind of squeezed her in there. It felt like she was a little bit squeezed in there, how they put her in. But she's Gal Gadot, I don't know how to pronounce. She did a really good job as Wonder Woman. And all the fears that people had as her when it was announced that she was cast, people were like, she's too skinny. Well, she did a great job, and she accurately portrayed Wonder Woman. How do I feel about Lex Luthor in this film? I mean, I think they do some stuff in this film that kind of explains why he's the way he is, why he's a little different from the Lex Luthor that we all know. And I liked it. I thought he was good. I thought it was nice that we don't get this classic Lex Luthor who's this evil genius. We still get the evil genius mastermind side of it, but we get him in a way that kind of was a bit more entertaining than if we would have had this simple Lex Luthor guy that we're all used to, that we've seen in so many different films and animated portrayals. I like that they changed that up. Now I will say at times he gets a little annoying. Just like he's like that guy who's always annoying you, and he's like, just stop, please. He's not a major annoyance or anything, but he just kind of gets on your nerve a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Some of his lines kind of got on my nerves a little bit while watching the film. Now, overall about the film, I feel like some key parts of the film that they did well were the cameos of the different characters. Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg. Those three, they did well. Those are some of my favorite parts of the film. Now, a complaint with this film that I have, and a lot of people have, is that this film is kind of made up of two parts. The Batman vs. Superman part, and then the Dawn of Justice part of the film. And the Batman vs. Superman part is really good, but they only get like one fight. They have like one encounter before, and then they get one fight. And that fight is not super long. That fight is relatively short. It's around like 20 minutes. It's not that long. It's kind of underwhelming. The parts that they fight is really cool, but we just didn't get quite enough of it. Now the Dawn of Justice part of that I liked, but felt a bit rushed and a little all over the place. The part where they're talking about starting the Justice League and that kind of stuff. The pacing of this movie was at parts was either super fast, and that sometimes got a little too fast, or it was super slow and you got bored. And another time there's some really weird editing choices, like when the movie starts, you'll have like a Batman scene, then randomly a Superman scene, then a Batman scene, then a Superman scene. It's kind of weird. But I feel like this film is definitely darker than anything Marvel has put out yet. Now the only thing, it seems like it could be around as dark as Civil War is appearing to be, but at times it does take itself a little too seriously as a film, which I just don't feel like there's quite enough humor in it. I feel like I could lighten up a little bit. And I thought this movie was definitely better than Man of Steel. I felt like it wasn't a lot better than Man of Steel, but it was significantly better than Man of Steel. I would say that I liked this movie. I did not love this movie. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'd give Man of Steel a 7 out of 10. I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10. So around an 85 out of 100. Not a 27 out of 100, which is what Rotten Tomatoes is giving it, which I do not get. This film, my main concern with this film is that they crammed a lot of stuff, some really big stuff, and they tried to cram it into one film, and it kind of got a little too big, and then they didn't quite stick the landing with putting a bunch of stuff. They stuck it better than I thought they were going to, but they didn't stick it great. They were kind of like, they stuck the landing, but they kind of scraped themselves when they reached the landing. So that's why it earns the 8.5 out of 10 in my book. Still a good film, it just wasn't a great film. So that is a review of Batman vs. Superman without getting into really any spoilers. So, guys, thanks for watching. And if you're a solid nerd and superhero like me, why don't you use your laser vision to laser down on that like button and give me a thumbs up? And why not also throw your batarang at that subscribe button so you can know whenever I post a new video. So, goodbye, guys. I have been Andrew the Fanboy, and I am not only Andrew the Fanboy, but I'm also Batman.